Hey y'all, what's good, beautiful people? It's your girl Tay, and I'm here yet again with another update video. So definitely make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe, and then push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. So as usual, you guys, same thing as yesterday, I do have my handy dandy fan here because it's too hot, so I will be fanning myself to keep me cool while we get into the news of this video. So hold on, y'all, let me go through. There was something that I found to be very, very interesting, but positive, or at least I think it's positive. You guys comment down below, let me know what you think about this particular situation here. So it says Republicans launch bill that would require fathers to pay child support to unborn babies. Senator says legislation would make it possible for mothers to get back pay from as early as conception. Now this came out actually one day ago. This was posted on Daily Mail. It says new legislation launched by Republicans will require a father to pay child support throughout a pregnancy. Senator Kevin Cramer introduced the Unborn Child Support Act last week that would amend the Social Security Act to ensure that child support for unborn children is collected and distributed under the Child Support Enforcement Program. Under the bill, mothers would be able to request child support from the moment of conception and would even be able to collect the payments retroactively if paternity was not established until birth. Okay, the bill has 9 Republican co-sponsors. In the Senate, we have Marco Rubio and Rick Scott of Florida. We have Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker of Mississippi, James Langford and Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma, and Steve Daines of, I want to say, Montana, I think. The article goes on to say that Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana has introduced a companion bill in the House which has 13 co-sponsors, okay? Pro-choice advocates have accused Republicans of not providing enough assistance mothers or children despite being pro-life, and the bill looks to remedy such criticisms, particularly after the Supreme Court overturned the Roe versus Wade and Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. Okay, I hope good legislation like the Unborn Child Support Act gets more support now that the Dobbs decision encourages us to look more seriously at supporting mothers and their unborn children, said Hyde-Smith in a statement. Caring for the well-being of our children begins long before a baby is born. I agree. It begins at the first moment of life, conception, and fathers have obligations, financial and otherwise, during pregnancy, said Kramer. Okay, but sponsors of the bill could also have an alternate motive. Amending federal law to say that child support is owed during pregnancy could help clear the way for federal termination of pregnancy by establishing that legal personhood begins at conception. Kramer and a number of child support bills co-sponsors also co-sponsor of a stalled bill that would establish the right to life begins at the moment of fertilization. This is not the first time they've tried to insert this personhood language into a national bill. Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund co-founder Lori Lori Bertram Roberts told the Mississippi Free Press. And see, the way they're doing it is very sneaky. The way they're doing it is under the guise of, oh, look, doesn't this make sense? Because this is one of those arguments that has been coming for people who actually support voluntarily termination of pregnancy. Which is why I tell people not to make these arguments, even if if y'all want to make us have babies, start child support at the moment of conception. Okay, so what they're basically trying to say is the motivation behind this bill to have men be financially responsible for the children at the moment of conception doesn't have anything to do with them saying, hey, we really support mothers and their unborn children. This is more or less their way of trying to enforce this other law of not allowing women to have access to voluntarily termination of pregnancy. Okay, so they're trying to basically show you this hand while hiding what the other hand is doing, if that makes any sense. Okay, and the reason why I'm continuously talking about this is because it's significant, regardless of, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, whether you're Republican, Democratic, liberal, progressive, moderate, independent, it doesn't matter what you are. I do not identify with any of those terms. I am for what is the best for everybody in general as a whole, whatever that makes me. I don't identify. I just can't. It's just too many stipulations and all of that. But for you personally, whatever you identify with, I think that we can all agree, especially us women, that our bodies, our choice, we have the right to decide. Now, with that being said, even though they're doing it for the wrong reasons, I do agree with that bill. I don't agree with why they're trying to put it out there, but I do agree that men should be held accountable, because let's be real, men are not held accountable. They're not. They don't get to start being a parent until after the child is born. We all know, as mothers who has given birth to children, that parenthood starts the moment that you are pregnant. Okay, there is no more time to yourself. Your body no longer belongs to you. Everything that you eat, all of the good nutrients and all of that, goes automatically to the baby. You are tired. Your body is going through all these different changes, both physically and emotionally, and you have no control over it. That, to me, is the day parenting began for me. It goes way beyond just pushing a baby out and then buying them Pampers from the grocery store. No, parenthood for mothers begins at conception. So I feel like parenthood for fathers should begin at fertilization, conception as well. That's just my personal opinion about that. I think there was another article in here that was still in this subject matter. So I'm going to see if I can take a look at it really quickly. I don't know why it's taking so long for this too. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. But before we get back into that, the indoor mask mandates returned Monday for San Diego Unified School District schools and offices, as the virus cases has definitely been in an uptick in the country. Mandatory masking in indoor public spaces will be required for all students, teachers, and staff at least through the end of summer, okay, for those of you who are in summer school. As a district, since the start of the pandemic, we have been intentional in implementing strategies to keep our community safe and reduce absences due to illness, all in service of our students, staff, and community, the district said in a letter sent to staff and parents and students on Friday. Y'all let me know, comment down below, let me know if your state is implementing the mask mandate. Again, I knew it was going to happen. I know that they've been talking about it in various LA counties, but I think that the mask mandate is definitely going to be back in effect, and it should be. I know there's a lot of us that has still been wearing our masks. I'm not gonna lie, there were some times where I did wear my mask. It was very, very, very infrequent. This wasn't something that I did for the most part. I keep masks in my car, and all of my children are wearing their masks very regularly. But on those days where I put some makeup on, because it creates that hot, sweaty environment under your mask, and then you take it off, and then this part of your face, your makeup may or may not be messed up. So some of the days where I was feeling a little bit cute, I just didn't wear a mask. And like I said, I don't wear makeup that often, generally when I'm making a video, so that didn't happen too often. But considering the fact that I'm recovering from the virus myself, I don't think that I will be taking that chance anymore. And that, not to say that that's going to prevent you from getting sick, because I don't think that it does. I think that everybody, for the most part, if they haven't already, they should be, considering the fact that at some point or another you are going to encounter this virus, and your habits and your body alone is going to determine how you pull through. I am glad, I am blessed, I feel extremely highly blessed in the fact that I didn't end up in the hospital, and I didn't have didn't go through what a lot of people went through. So I'm happy about that. But moving on from that, this is getting used to the new. Yeah, this is getting, the article goes on to say that the district added in the letter that it will continue to monitor data from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the county over the next 2 weeks, and let the community know if there are any changes. Okay, this is getting used to the new normal and getting people to be responsible for their protection. This is coming from Dr. Francesca Toriani, Program Director of Infection Prevention and Clinical Epidemiology and Tuberculosis Control at UC San Diego Health. She told code ABC News. So we get used to mitigating when cases rise and then go back to normal life when waves subside. I don't ever think that we are going to get back to whatever normal life they keep trying to promise us. This is the new normal. I think that the only thing that we can do now as a nation, as a country, is just to prepare for all of these waves, these up and down periods. Make sure that we have the things that we need in place, whether it be on a federal level, whether it be on a state level. Make sure that the officials in the state, what do you call that? The politicians, the people who are responsible for making certain decisions and stuff on a state level, and then on a federal level, have the tools that they need, have the resources that they need so that they can take care of the people that they are responsible for, okay, in their area. So then getting back to our favorite subject right now, West Virginia. This is specifically for West Virginia. West Virginia judge blocks pre-Roe versus Wade voluntary termination of pregnancy ban. You guys know I can't say that word, but it is the abortion ban. Okay, so a West Virginia judge yesterday blocked officials from enforcing a 19th century ban on voluntary termination of pregnancies after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision that recognized the right of women nationally to terminate their pregnancies. The decision by Kanawha County Circuit Judge Tara Salandro clears the way for the state's lone termination of pregnancy clinics to resume services, which is suspended out of fear of prosecution following the U.S. Supreme Court's June 24th ruling. Republican West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrissey's office argued that the 1800s era law could take effect once again, making it a felony to perform this procedure, with exceptions only to protect a pregnant woman's life. Again, we all know that pregnant women are not the only one that get pregnant. We have perverts out here, okay, that go after children. And so I feel like in that situation, regardless of whether it is a viable, I don't care. Let me just say this. I'm going to say this as many times as I want to, okay? Y'all already know. And I'm saying this because I had somebody that put in the comments yesterday that I talk too much. They want me to get to the point. If you're not paying attention, this is what we do here, honey. We give opinions. I keep it real, and that's just what it's going to be. So if you guys are not into people like me who's going to talk to you guys a little bit from her perspective or his perspective, then there are plenty of channels available that will just sit there and talk to you like a regular newscaster, bored and bland, okay? But I ain't that. So getting back to what I was saying, I feel like at the age of 10, 11, 12, if you are not grown, and if you find yourself in a situation where you end up pregnant because there was a pervert that obviously doesn't comprehend or understand the innocence that needs to be protected in a child, boy or girl, but in this situation, we're talking about little girls because they're the only ones that can get pregnant, right? I don't care if the pregnancy is viable. Like I told you guys, I'm a mom. I have children. I have a 15-year-old being my eldest daughter, and then I have a 10-year-old being my youngest daughter. If my 10-year-old were to experience this awful circumstance and were to end up pregnant, I don't care how viable that pregnancy is. I would want to have the option to terminate that pregnancy, because even though physically she may be okay, and the reality of the situation, and we've talked about this several times, even for a woman, it is like playing Russian roulette. You never know. You could be the healthiest, went to yoga every day, ate all your apples, berries, fruits, and all of that, have no underlying health conditions, and still end up losing your life after giving birth to your child. It has happened many times. It's going to continue to happen. You just never know. Why would a mother, why would any parent want to put their child through that unfortunate circumstance? At least as an adult, you are making the choice to say, I'm willing to take that chance that me and my child will make it through this safe on the other side. You get what I'm trying to say? But a child doesn't have that luxury. So even though they may come out of it physically, and again, their body may not be able to handle the pregnancy, and there's no way of knowing that, you know what I mean? But even if they were to come through physically, the emotional torment that they would have to go through in that scenario is not something I am willing to allow my daughter to go through. That's just my personal opinion. I do understand the aspect of wanting to protect all life, but with that being said, and I'm saying this because y'all already know there are plenty of other situations in which I think that when people are saying certain lives matter, that should come into play. That I think that there are a lot of other ways that people are losing their lives in a very dangerous and traumatizing and unjust way, and you are speaking very highly on a being, and I'm calling it a being because it is a life. But does that hold more weight than my child? Does that hold more weight than my 10-year-old? No. So moving on from that, I just wanted to let y'all know in West Virginia that your governor or whatever is still trying to make these services available for you. Again, I'm going to continue to say my body. It is my body, my choice. And it's my children. It's still my choice, okay, until they get old enough to have that choice themselves. So I think that is all for today's video. Oh, wait, you know what? It's not. One thing that I did want to talk about on here is pandemic EBT. Now, I'm only doing it for one state, and it's going to be for California, and I'll tell you why. I'm still going to be releasing a video on pandemic EBT. It's going to be solely dedicated to pandemic EBT. I'm going to give you guys the rundown of the current list of states that have been approved, as well as their payout information for the current school year, which is 2021-2022, and for pandemic EBT for the summertime of 2022. However, we have been waiting a very long time, not to say that no other states have, but I know specifically in California, we have not been on their list, and I wanted to provide this information. I'm also going to leave a link down below in the description box where you guys can access this information for yourself. So it says, good news, it looks like you may be eligible for PEBT 3.0. That is what they are calling it. If you had a child, it says school-age children are eligible for PEBT 3.0 if they were enrolled at a school for school year 2021-2022 that participated in the federal school breakfast program or the national school lunch program, and eligible to get free or reduced price meals for school for this current school year. Okay. They also had to have attended school via independent study or California's version of virtual learning, or had at least 5 excused absences in the month. Now, as far as I know, they have approved these benefits for both school-age children as well as children under the age of 6. And there's even like a little survey on this particular site where you can put in some very generic information about your specific circumstance. It's going to ask you, you know, if your child attended school, if they attended school virtually, or if they attended it in person, and then it will give you an outcome at the end that will let you know whether or not your child is possibly eligible for these benefits. For children under 6, they're going to go based off of whether that child was in a household where they were receiving CalFresh, which is SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits, anytime during this current school year. Okay, those cards are expected to be mailed out. New cards will be going out, I believe, sometime next month in August, and I believe it's going to be split into 2 or 3 different disbursements. Now, the payment information is a little bit unclear to me, so I do need to do a little bit more research into that, but I did want to let you know for pandemic EBT 3.0 program for California, we are finally on the list. We do have some payments that should be going out, new cards that should be going out next month in August. As always, you guys, I hope this information was in some way helpful or useful to you guys in the least little bit. Do me a favor, don't forget to smash that like button, because it really does help to let YouTube know that you like what I'm doing and you want me to stick around. Also, let's drop some blue hearts down below in the comment section. Let me know you made it all the way to the end of this video. And as always, I'm going to tell you guys, don't forget to check out the description box, because the link for this site specifically for California PEBT 3.0 program will be down there in the description box, as well as some other links and a link for Amazon Prime, which you can get 30 days free on me. So don't forget to check that out. As always, I'm going to say, remember to live, love, and elevate, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Peace, y'all.